Hello everybody and welcome to Sword Art Online Alicization War of Underworld episode, I think we're on 18 of War of Underworld anime review. Yeah, this happened. I'm going to take my time so the people that didn't want to watch a review can leave, because I don't want to hear spoilers, so I'm at least that courteous. Although, don't watch anime on YouTube, what's wrong with you? Anyway, so yeah, Kirito woke up. That was a thing that happened this episode. Also, like a Super Mother's Rosario was also a thing that happened. That was all pretty cool. And in the middle of it, there was a sequence that I liked, but when you sit down and actually think about it, didn't make a lot of sense, really. The whole dream sequence, I'll explain it when I get to it, but, because like some of it made sense, but other bit was like, that's not really relevant. We'll get to that when we get to it, but anyway, it was another hype week. I think that is for sure. But anyway, let's get to the episode, see exactly what happened and everything. Let's do this. We open up with Kirito in a classroom. I did like this little section. He's in his classroom, and then there was he's like walking around like, oh, I guess I'll go home. Feel like I've got to do something really important. And like after he said that, he like walks past Alice in the street, and then they go on the train. Yu-Gi-Oh's in the back of the train, just people. I was expecting like a load of people, like maybe other people, like you'd have the Asuna and that maybe show up as well. But no, just them two, I guess, because it's like his Underworld memories, sort of, I guess. He walks past a billboard which has SAO on it. Like, I guess this is sort of like a flashback memory to when he was a middle schooler. So like this is, hey, look, I want to play that one day. You know, maybe I'm just looking too far into it. That's what I got from it. Then he hears a voice saying his name, looks down the alley, and who does he see down the alley? Oh boy, it's Sachi and the moonlit black cats. And I was like, oh, I see what we're doing here. We're gonna watch all the death that he's seen. But then I stopped and I was like, he's not seen that much really when you sit down and think about it. And then maybe therein lies the issue, which we'll get to later on. But at this point I was like, oh, and then the opening started, and I usually don't talk about the opening, but they've changed it slightly. The things I noticed is, one, Kirito has yellow eyes now, which that's an important thing. And the second thing I noticed, well, it's pretty obvious, at the end, Alice is like in the human world and she's got like robot eyes. So, don't know what that's about. Maybe she gets to become a robot and we get to take that to the park. Who knows? But I can tell you for one thing, it's very exciting. I'm going to rewatch the opening again at some point, just to see if I missed anything else. I'm sure there was probably a little bit maybe I missed, but that was for definite a thing I missed, so it's kind of impressive. I thought maybe they'd have a full-on different opening, as opposed to just these little bits. I say full-on different opening, same song, different anime. Sort of like Mother's Rosario and Caliber. I thought they might do that for this once, you know, Kirito wakes up. But it looks like they're just going to do this little minor change, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. Things are getting juicy though, but what's going on outside of Kirito's dreamland? I'll tell you what's going on, absolute hell. So Put is using his incarnate, I presume, to make everyone violent and want to kill each other, so that's, you know, not great going on there. Put says he's gonna wake Kirito up and goes to kill the nearest person, who is just this random Underworld soldier guy. Asuna can't stand, she's like, I can't fight anymore. A lot of people not being able to stand in this episode, but then with the encouragement of ghosts, I guess. Ghosts are the things that are encouraging them to stand up again. So Asuna gets... Ghost Yuki shows up out of nowhere. I was like, oh, I remember you. I wasn't expecting Yuki to appear in any form, really, in this season. But hey, it's nice to know she's there. She lives on in the memories, which is sort of like a key factor of this episode. There's a hug. Asuna charges at Put to block him and everything. They have a little scrap. She's about to get cut in half, but she like alters the floor slightly, so he trips and his aim misses, and instead of hitting her, you know, through the belly, he just nicks the side of it, which is good for her. You know, if she hadn't done that, she would have been in two parts, and that's not ideal. You don't want to be in two parts. Put wants Kirito. He's been after Kirito basically since he failed to kill him on floor 5 of Aincrad, and I've read Progressive, and I was like, did that happen? Like, I vaguely remember that. I think I'm going to have to, like, reread a bit, because I'm up to date on Progressive, and I can't remember that off the top of my head. So, I mean, I assume it did happen, and I am literally just an idiot and forgotten. And then, yeah, it's kind of weird the way Puh views Kirito. So he gives him hope and joy because no matter what he does to him, he never gives up and everything. And that's why he's so annoyed that he's like this now that he's not here, you know? So, very strange relationship they've got. Then he talked about his weapon for a little bit, about how, I think he said in Aincrad, it powers down when he killed monsters, but powers up when he kills people. So, first off, Kaiba is a sadistic son of a bitch for making a weapon that would encourage player killing in a game that was always intended to be a death game. Like, Kaiba, what the hell, man, you know? But yeah, then this transfers, I guess, into the Underworld where, hey, dead people energy is just in the air, so it absorbs that and becomes mega powerful, is essentially what I got from it. Basically, then he's like, I'm gonna kill everyone and make you watch, and then I'm gonna kill you last when Kirito's awake. And it's like, that's a bit... Puh, you're a messed up man, you know, get some help. I looked this up afterwards because the SAO wiki has been causing a fit of all the changes that the anime's had, which, hey, you're allowed to do that, do whatever you want. I still think it's fine on its own, but I did look up, like, Puh's original backstory, and he was like an assassin or something. Like, okay, I guess time constraints, but that's awesome. You should have kept that in. That's an awesome thing. I recommend looking it up because it's like, oh, you know, it's on the wiki, so you can look that up. My guess is they got annoyed it got cut from the anime and then quickly wrote up the thing for the wiki page because it wasn't on there beforehand. So there you go. You can look up Puh's backstory on the SAO wiki now. But now back to the show and bloody Puh versus Asuna, and it's awesome. So Ghost Yuki shows up again to power up Asuna. They like smirk at each other. It's great and everything. She grows wings. I guess Yuki is Asuna's wings. I'm okay with that. Everyone's cheering her on. It's a proper feel-good moment and everything. I was like, okay, come on, Asuna, let's go. She says, she's like, I will never lose now. And then we get the super budget kicks in with the thick lines, and it's awesome. Super budget Mother's Rosario. Puh is just sent through the hooper a bit. Like, I was just thinking, he's got to be dead, right? Like, even before I saw the hole in his chest, it was just like, there's no way he's still alive. And like, yeah, you see, like, he's got a massive hole. I say chest, it was like most of his torso was just missing. And I was like, okay, no way he's alive anymore. Wrong. So Puh's sword, after that and everything, her wings go away, Yuki flies off, and it's like, no, wait, come back, he's not dead yet. Puh's sword, I guess, because it's got so much energy, it's basically what's keeping him alive, because you see, like, the energy sort of, like, reform his stomach. It's pretty alright. Basically, Puh's sword's ability in SAO, I guess, is sort of being transferred to the Underworld, where there's death energy everywhere. I'm sorry if I don't quite get that. It's probably also something to do with Incarnate, because I don't get it. That's how it works. Yeah, then he tells everyone, basically, all the people, like, yeah, kill everyone, and then more infighting happens. There's a stampede briefly and everything, and like Asuna and Kirito are both down. They're both like reaching towards each other in the stampede, and it's quite nice. She's like all like, Kirito-kun, but where is Kirito's mind right now? Because it ain't there. Well, I'll tell you where Kirito's mind is. It ain't a great place. So Kirito then watches the moonlit black cats die again. This is in the dream. I guess we'll call it a dream sequence. And it's like exactly the same. I couldn't tell really, but I think they might have even used the exact same, just reused the animation, which hit harder, you know? It was like, oh, it's exactly the same. I guess Kirito's old memories are using the old animation style, which is kind of funny. He says like, no, stop, I don't want to watch more. And then we see like a bunch of death. We see Diarvel. We see Kuradil was after that. Kuradil. We see the Laughing Coffin members he killed. That all makes sense, you know, Moonlit Black Cats and then them three, because that's all deaths he's either been directly involved in, like Kuradil and the Laughing Coffin members, or things he couldn't stop, like with the Moonlit Black Cats. Things he feels responsible for, I guess. So that all makes sense. That I got no problem with. But then it goes into Oberon and Death Gun. Oberon, I could sort of see it because it shows Kirito being brutal and everything. It's not makes not as much sense to the other ones. Death Gun just made no sense. It was like, oh yeah, Death Gun. I was just watching that. I was like, oh yeah, cool fight scene, you know? Like, because with Oberon, you know, the pain thing was down. He's literally causing him pain. So yeah, you could sort of work it like that. Death Gun, though, like, it's yes, everything around it is kind of serious, but when you boil it down to its basic components, it's an in-game fight between two players. I know, yes, everything else around it, but there was no physical pain they're feeling or anything, and there was no actual death stakes for them to. So it didn't quite fit in, you know, is what I'm saying. The other deaths I think made sense. Overall was a bit you could spin it to make sense. A death gun was just there because, oh crap, we got to have something from GGO in here. But yeah, but then we get to the real, what do you call it, main event, and it shows Yu-Gi-Oh! Weird that they showed Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, like, Kirito, they could have showed those two dickheads Kirito killed. They could have showed, like, Cardinal, like, other people who died that Kirito has been responsible indirectly or directly for. Like, you know, they could have done that. Like, they would have fit in, I think, as well, instead of jumping straight to Yu-Gi-Oh! But whatever, like, it's fine. It's not the end of the world, but it's just kind of weird. So yeah, big section on Yu-Gi-Oh! And then Kirito's like, I should have been the one that dies instead. And then things get so dark. Kirito, like, rips his shirt off, and I was like, okay, nice, Kirito. And then he starts ripping his chest apart. I'm like, oh my god, Kirito, what are you doing? Like, no, man, stop. And then Asuna, Leafa, or Suguha, and Sinon show up. I guess it's their real bodies, Asuna, Shino, Suguha, because this is, I guess, how, because they connected the STLs together, I guess this is what this is and everything. And they basically, you know, just like, Kirito, you know, you got to get up and all that. But Kirito, it doesn't work. Kirito's like, nope, I don't deserve your forgiveness. He just keeps ripping at his heart and everything. He gets into it and he grips his heart. So I guess if he had crushed his heart, would the avatar, I guess, of Kirito have died? Maybe? That's sort of what I get from that. Yeah, grips his heart, and we got to Kuga briefly, who was like, damn it, if only there was one more person who had such a strong connection to Kirito. If only we had one more person. Huh, that's weird. Why is there an object trying to connect to Kirito? That's weird. Why is it doing that? It's the Blue Rose Sword and Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess, specifically. Yu-Gi-Oh shows up and it's like, Kirito, enough is enough, my dude. You need to stand up. And it's basically like the memory and everything. The memory will stay in your heart forever, they sort of do on that. I guess similar thing with Asuna and Yuki earlier on. You know, the memory is there, and that's what gives them strength, kind of. Kirito, you know, is like, is it okay? Is it okay for me to stand up again? And they're all like, yes, Kirito, of course it is. And they all grab his hand, like the scene in the trailer, and it's like, oh, his bloody hand, because he's been ripping at his chest, remember? And then, yeah, they all hold his hand, and we get a bright flash of life as we return to the Underworld. I was going to say real world? Underworld. The fighting is still going on in the Underworld, the stampeding and everything. Asuna's going to get stabbed, which, you know, isn't good. But then out of nowhere, scent of roses. Like, at that point I was like, oh my god, I know a weapon that's got rose in the name. And it's just this icy aroma of roses, which is kind of cool. Kirito's gripping the sword. Did like the thing, like realizes, and he just turns with this maniacal look on his face, and it just pans out, and you see Kirito with his hand on the sword. And then, enhanced armaments, but it's not just not just Kirito, that Yu-Gi-Oh's saying it as well. They both enhance armament. Freeze basically all the bad guys. They've got very good aim to only get the bad ones, because like the good, like what's his name, Moonphase and his friend Mei. They're not frozen, like, despite the armor they're wearing. So Kirito / Yu-Gi-Oh! Got really good aim with that enhanced armament and everything. Pub breaks out and is like, Kirito! Charges, I was going to say at him, but Sortalina tries to intercept and gets smacked across the map into Asuna, and I think Rangi was there as well. Catches them, and then he shifts his target to those three. But yeah, he goes to attack them. Big old force field going off, and they see a hand in the force field. And I was like, that's a bit weird. Is that a flying hand? Is that Kirito's hand? Or is that Yu-Gi-Oh's hand? Like, it's probably Kirito's, because he sort of reconnects it later on. It's kind of weird. Kirito stands, just casually walks. It's like, alright, he might break through the force field in a minute. You might want to hurry this up, Kirito. Gets there, his arm regrows. Again, doesn't explain how. So I'm just going to assume incarnate. Probably. I've not read the last two Alicization light novels, because I didn't want to get ahead of the anime. So when we're done, I'll read them, and I'll be like, oh, that makes sense now, you know. Maybe I'll read the 17 or whatever now, because I think we're past that point. So I can read that one safely. Fine, whatever. But yeah, Kirito stands, his arm regrows. And then he turned, he's like, I'm back. And when he turned, I was like, is he going to have yellow eyes? He's going to have yellow eyes. He didn't have yellow eyes. He had just his grey eyes. But he's up again. The Blue Rose Sword's still broken. Don't know how they're going to fix that. Because, let's be honest, they are going to fix it. It's just going to regrow, isn't it? Incarnate. I don't know why I say how. Just incarnate. It's going to work. So, yeah. That was the end of the episode. Exciting stuff. Kirito's awake. That's pretty much all you need to know. That's the cliff note. Is Kirito's awake. And Super Mother's Rosario was also pretty cool. But yeah, it was exciting. The dream sequence, as I said, didn't make much sense when you think about it. Like, I did read, I think it was probably the SAO Wiki Twitter moaning about it, that a lot of it got changed because a lot of it wasn't enacted into the anime at some point. Again, don't know because I've not read the light novel, but that's just what I'm taking. If people do know that are watching, let me know how and why, no, maybe not why, or how and why you think it was changed. The why is probably because that wouldn't make sense in the light, because the anime didn't have that part or something. I don't know. I do know there was one part in a side story that is like part of in like volume 8. There's a part where he like gets a player killed or something. That was probably included in there, but I don't know. Anyway, let's get to my favourite part of the episode. You'll never guess what it was. I say that, but there was actually it was quite a hard pick for me because the Super Mother's Rosario, easy for me to say. I don't know why I keep calling it that. It's just Mother's Rosario with wings. The Super Mother's Rosario, whatever. That was pretty damn cool and well animated and everything. But you can't beat Kirito's return, can you? Like, it's such a... We've been waiting for... He's been gone for 18 episodes. When you think about it, that's crazy. That's crazy talk. But yeah, so that's I think it. It was a cool moment and everything. The enhanced armament was cool. I like the Yu-Gi-Oh touch. Maybe it could have been better if they explained it better. Like, I'm assuming in the light novel they're like, he grew his arm back because in what's it called? Incarnation. But whatever, it's fine. It's nice to have him back. I can't wait for him to single-handedly blitz through the entire enemy force because he's Kirito. Like, no, as long as they don't make him stupid OP, I think I'll be okay with it. He could be OP because that's kind of what he does. But like, as long as he's not like, oh, I just one-shot the entire army by, like the end of Ordinal Scale when he just kills all the monsters like that. That made sense in that context. Wouldn't make as much sense here. So hopefully they don't do something stupid like that and just, yeah. I hope he has a cool fight with Puh. Like, I hope we get a well-animated Kirito versus Puh fight. Because that's, I assume, where we're going next week. With a bit of luck. And then obviously, Subtilizers. Where's he gone? He's probably after Alice, right? He's probably going to the altar thing. Remember her? Remember Alice? She showed up this week. I can't say that, damn it. Technically, in the dream sequence. Anyway, rambling now. What I'm trying to say is it was a bloody fine episode. Like, at this point, if you're actively disliking SAO, stop watching, is all I'm gonna say. Although we're near the end. Screw it, just don't be a pain in the ass about it, is what I'm saying. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching this review. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing and stuff for more reviews. That would help me out a lot. I will see you next week for another episode of this. Take care, and bye guys.